Welcome, dear students, to the second session of We Are the Music Makers. I hope you have been going through the previous session, taking notes, and they might have been helpful to you. Still, let's have a quick recap of stanza 1 that we did in the last session. The artists are said to be the music makers, dreamers of dreams, wander by the sea, river, stream. They are being addressed as losers and forsakers. And moving on to the next stanza. And before we go with the lines of the stanza, let's look on to the words that they are to be considered, which will make the stanza enhanced, okay, or more clear to understand, right? They are deathless, words like deathless, ditties, fashion, tree, trample have been used, which means immortal, everlasting, deathless. Simple short songs or creations, ditties. Fashion out here is not the fashion of today, modern fashion, rather it is to shape the time, the form. And three are the new upcoming artists, and trample is to crush and to destroy. The second artist to remember few points, okay. uh, The stanza is going to reflect immortal creations of artists, the power of the artist, the everlasting creation of the artist, the power they have to crush and destroy, and the power to bring change with the time, with due respect to the predecessors. Moving on to the stanza, we have, let us take two lines each. With wonderful deathless ditties, we build up the world's great cities. The speaker out here wants to state that with the praiseworthy, immortal, small lyrical songs or compositions, they are able to make the names of the cities live forever and ever. You might have heard in a number of songs, few cities are named as, for example, cities like Tokyo, cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Chandigarh, Banaras, New York, London, Paris are few names in common which are named in various songs. Moving on to the next two lines, it says, and out of the fabulous stories we fashion an empire's glory. Okay, the poet out here wants to say that they have not only through compositions like songs and poems, they have also designed many stories in which they have glorified the names of the states and empires for doing good, okay, for the good things that they hold, okay. So they have fashioned empires, okay, they have shaped the empires to glory. Next two lines are, no one man with a dream at pleasure shall go forth and conquer a crown, right? Which means they can also motivate a particular person or the person who reads the poem, the readers, among the readers. Men can get inspired, okay, by the creation of these poets and are capable enough to hold or conquer. They shall go forth, they shall move ahead and conquer their crown. Crown is, can be goals, okay, the goals that they have set, the readers have set, the people have set. They are capable enough, they are motivated enough to achieve it. The last two lines says, the three with the new songs measure can trample an empire down. In the same order, the word three actually is not to any particular three poets or writers or authors or artists. It is just saying the upcoming new artist with their new songs. They can bring in other creations, measures creations. They can come up with new creations. These creations may destroy the old thoughts, okay, to bring about a required change. Because now at this point of time, the glory of this empire, what it was holding was at the uppermost. So they fashioned it. But when time passed, the same empire, okay, or empire like this empire may not be appropriate for the time, okay, the existing time. So the new poets may trample them, okay, for a change of human beings, bringing a greater change in the society and the people. Okay, so that is all of stanza 2. Let's move on. And before we move on, I would like to tell you, take this line here, which means what the stanza exactly wants to highlight. That is power of the artist. Stanza 2 wants to highlight power of the artist. Moving on to stanza 3, but before that, let us see what it means. Directly or indirectly, the poet wants to say that artists are the real heroes and leaders of the world. Okay, so that can be an insight given to the stanza by us. Words and phrases to know of stanza 3. Ages, ancient times, buried past history. Nevitt and Babel are two biblical cities named in the poem. Okay, I have given you the reference of these two cities here. This is from Mesopotamia. Okay, and this says, they were trying to make a tower and they were punished by God by giving them different language because they were claiming equality with God. Okay, so by changing the language, communication led to failure of this building the tower. Okay, so this is two biblical cities which is in a myth presented in the story. On sighing is a loud breath that shows one in pain, disappointment, or sadness. Okay, prophecy is predicting. Wordsworth is importance of the world, and each age is the era or a period. Now, before getting into the stanza, points to remember. Okay, I told you biblical cities. One is Nineveh, symbol of human rise and fall. Babel, the symbol of human unity and strength. Okay, please remember this. Illusions used to show when artists suffer, Nineveh is built. Okay, when they are happy, Babel rise with great creativity and unity. Okay, why illusions, right? Now they create myth. Poets can create myth and also demolish them. Okay, to present something to us, they create a myth, and as they move on, they demolish it also. With the change of time, they change their views. Okay, they move with the time. In other words, we can say they move with the time. Okay, myth and dreams take new shapes but remain deathless. Whatever they write, whatever they do, whatever they create, it remains with us forever and ever. Taking up two lines together again. We, in the age lying in the buried past of the earth. Okay, we again the artist in the ages, in the ancient past, their creations are lying in the history. Okay, that means we read their creations in history. It is still existing in the world and we go on reading them. And what is there in the history? Built Nineveh with a signing and Babel itself with the myth. Okay, now when they were unhappy, okay, they were in pain. They built, they composed, they wrote, they mentioned about this biblical cities in their write-up, Nineveh, okay, and when they were at peace, happiness, they created Babel. But in both the cases, they tried to show their reflect. I told you in the previous slide how when people of Nineveh got into sinful deeds, the empire was demolished. Okay, and the great tower which was being constructed by the people of Babel, but the moment the arrogance groomed up, okay, and they wanted to show that they are equal to God, so God taught them a lesson. Okay, and by giving them different language, and in this order the tower could never be completed. Okay, it remained as it is now, and overthrew them with prophesying to the old of the new Wordsworth. Okay, so when they were creating this Nineveh and Babel, but as time moved on, okay, as time moved on, they did not compromise with their imaginations and their predictions. They too moved on, okay, and they preached, okay, of overthrowing wrong. Like they became sinful, the empire was destroyed. They became arrogance, okay, then the tower could not be constructed, okay, so they were overthrown. To the old of the new world, the similar thing has been done. You can say the old poets thoughts, okay, when they created something in the past which was suitable for the time, okay, that was acknowledged. But as time passed, the new world, the new creators, the new poets, the new artists came into existence. They started making new approaches, okay, are able to predict the new era and is in that is approaching, and the past that is disappearing. They were able to do both. They were able to preach the present, they were able to preach the past, okay. So that was the illusion which presents here, right? It says the illusion is used to present the mood of the poet, okay. It is used to present the mood of the poet. When they are happy, Babel comes up. When they are unhappy or they are suffering, Nineveh was created, okay. And this myth keeps following. Let us go into the next two lines and then we can conclude it, okay. It says, for each age is a dream that is dying, for or one that is coming to a birth. Okay, now let's not forget, whatever starts ends. Okay, and when something ends, something else begins. Okay, that is coming to birth, right? So these old aged poets are well aware about their close. Okay, the period closing and the new era coming up. So they keep on giving ways to the new poets for creating the new illusions, but the new poets, respecting the old, keep creating illusions, and that is how the cycle keeps continuing. Okay, they keep moving on, and the art never dies. Okay, so the art is a divine creation. That is what we come across with this stanza. Art, a divine creation. I hope you have understood all the three stanzas to the mark I am expecting. In case there are doubts, please feel free to call me or contact me. Okay. Uh, if you remember, in the previous session, I had given you two questions. Out here, I have highlighted few points for question 1. Okay. If you're finding it difficult to answer, you can just take these clues for your help and try to answer them. Okay. Answer this question. Critical appreciation of the poem. Okay, in this, if you get a question, critically appreciate the poem via the music makers, what you can do is you can mention the form of the poem, which is an ode. Okay, give the significance of it, the serious matter that it has. Then you can go on to a paragraph to write about the contradict themes it has in a brief. And next paragraph can be based on the rhyming pattern used, I mean the literary devices used. Okay, right. So it can be symbol, rhyming, illusion, and so on. Okay, and a short paragraph for title, according to you, if it is an apt title or not. Okay, and then give a basic idea of the poem, right? Importance. We know that the basic idea of the poem is importance of all creative artists. Then the purpose of writing this poem. Okay, now in this, what we are going to do is we are just going to pick up few areas out here, as I have picked up one, that is conquer a crown, trample an empire. Okay, so basic thing is to show a revolution, significant influence of the existing time, that was the period of French Revolution. Okay, so this can be put together. Brief description of the poem, sum total, like a short summary in one paragraph. Just mention, I've given you 3 hints of the 3 stanzas of the poem. what exactly each stanza means. So that can be used to give a short or a brief description about the poem. And at the end, do not forget to give your own interpretation to conclude the lines. Okay. In the concluding paragraph, give just your own interpretation. What is your view about, or what have you learned, and how has it helped you, okay, uh, in understanding or in doing things. Okay. Further, I would like you to move on to a long question of 20 marks, which I want to discuss here. Okay, it says, we are the music makers. The poet describes artists as the movers and shakers. Do you agree with the view? Discuss with close reference to the text. Okay, to understand this, let us break the question into segments. Okay, and the first one I take is take a stand, because it is asking you, do you agree? So take a stand, right? And after taking the stand, there are two things to do. One is to describe, one is to discuss. Okay. So let us describe the artist as movers and shakers. Okay. To describe this, let us look into this part. To do so, the question says discuss with close reference. Okay. You have to describe with close reference. Okay. You have to describe, discuss, close reference. Okay. Now, let us see what to describe and what to discuss. Understood? What to describe and what to discuss. As I have agreed, okay, I've taken a stand, I agree. So it can be what kind of music they make, okay. Discussion would be they make everlasting and deathless deities. Then, what is that they dream? They are dreaming beyond common thoughts. Okay, that is the reason why they are by the sea breakers. Okay, they are at the isolated streams. Okay, so you can mention that. Influence of the music on people. Okay, they motivate people to achieve crown. They inspire people to create the tower. Okay, at the same time, they bring in change. When people do not adhere to rules, they bring a change by demolishing it. Okay, the tower could never be completed, and Nineveh was destroyed for sinful deeds. Okay, power to crown and crush, revolution, like French Revolution. We brought it to the recent time, okay, of his existence. Now, this is not myth. Okay, here we were talking about myth. This is not myth. This is reality. What the poet wanted to speak to people, taking the help of myth. Okay, the biblical cities, creating myth, I told you, of old and new artists. Both old and new artists take the help of myth and dreams to make people understand. And to do so, don't forget to quote lines from the poem. Whether it is a discussion or a description, don't forget to quote lines from the poem, like words or phrases, so that it can help and enhance your answer. Okay. To give insight to the write-up, you can take the help of social, political, economic changes in the past or present. Like here I highlighted for you French Revolution. Okay, because that was a time when the poet was associated to it. Okay, and the present you can take Sudarshan Patnaik, clear, who's a sand painter and creates a lot of things which makes a difference. Right there. I hope you have understood, and I expect you all to do good in these kind of questions. I'll still come forward with many more to explain to make it more easy and sound effective. For now, I take your leave. Thank you. Hope to see you soon. We'll be back soon. Take care till then and stay safe. Bye, and I'm signing out.